Hey everyone. Okay, so I think the place to start with this chapter is with Jinn, as the beginning of the chapter gives us an interaction between Ivor and Cleen in the aftermath of the last chapter, talking about about learning that Muller is alive here in this universe, and again all the trauma he inflicted upon the Rutherford siblings, but specifically the trauma she suffered thanks to Muller. And Cleen, honestly, I like how we do get that moment of Cleen saying she's fine and that she's long since moved past her previous trauma. Jinn, on the other hand, as we see, has the opposite reaction, making it very clear he's still kind of got a personal bone to pick with Muller, and hinting very heavily at the idea that one way or another he's gonna get his licks in this time, and that he's gonna have a role in the battle against Muller, which honestly I'm right out the way I'm all for with, because I do admit, while I loved how Mashima handled Hermit's development in the Forest arc and her putting her fears of Muller to bed. I do admit, when we learned that Muller had experimented on the Rutherford siblings, it did always leave me feeling like there was a missed opportunity there for, at the very least, Jinn to put his own demons to bed. And now with the reveal that, well, we basically have another Muller to deal with, and that that in any universe he's just as much of an asshole as the last. I do like how this does provide an opportunity in order for Jinn in order to settle those old scores, in order to address his trauma, in order to address the unresolved anger and resentment he has towards Muller. I do like how that is being set up here, and honestly, just the thought of the trio of Jinn, Shura, and Shiki fighting Muller, it really does have a lot of great potential to be a massively satisfying beatdown, in my opinion. Also, I really loved seeing Laguna in this, seeing the reunion between Laguna and Witch as well, and seeing his genuinely emotional and just happy and joyful reaction to Witch, learning she's technically alive in this world. And because it is one of those things where it does show, just seeing Laguna's reaction to Witch, it does show he is grateful for her giving him that second chance after the whole incident with Draken, and I think being reunited with Witch in general reminded him so much that it was because of her that he was able to find true happiness in life and be able to just smile again, whereas before he wasn't able to find happiness in anything, which does, again, make me hope even more that Mashima can find a way, for at the very least, Witch to return to our universe if he isn't going. That is assuming if he doesn't already have plans of going the sort of universe merger route. And yeah, for someone whose whole motif is tears and crying, again, it is interesting that I think that this is one of those only times we've seen Laguna genuinely cry and just truly embrace his emotions in the way he did with this chapter. I think maybe the only thing I didn't technically like about this moment is I wish the whole moment between Witch and Laguna could have just lingered a little longer before shit hit the fan. But it's a minor complaint, as I still really love the moment itself. Just seeing our boy find happiness, it is just fulfilling. With that said, yeah, the chapter jumps straight into aforementioned shit show, with Muller having taken control of the Empire's armada and launching attack on the Eden's crew and Shura, giving Mashima the perfect excuse to showcase why Valkyrie is the OG Sword of Edens. And obviously, we saw of what she could do in flashback all the way back in the in the Sun Jewel arc, but seeing a more personal demonstration of her power is definitely a seeing is believing moment. I really like that we're seeing firsthand what it is that Valkyrie, what it is that makes Valkyrie a capable fighter, and just getting to see the full extent of her power. Like I especially love the acknowledgement for Valkyrie's I definitely like the acknowledgement of Valkyrie's display from the Ocean 6 that when they got their asses kicked, when they got their asses beat, the crew was actually holding back, which is a good acknowledgement that even though they are in different bodies, that they're still as strong as they were in their own universe, and just kind of a confirmation and affirmation that that there is a reason the Sword of Eden exists. That the power of the Sword of Eden isn't just like a title. It is Valkyrie is a legitimate threat you need to consider in this. And again, I do like how seeing that power is legitimate. There is legitimacy to it. Now, with that said, we got to talk about Muller's little suicide mission with the antimatter bombs. Because the thing about it is, because time travel doesn't exist in this world, he'd really just be killing himself. So I have to assume that the way he's hoping this works is that he pretty much knows, he's learned about Rebecca through one. He knows about Rebecca's power, and I think is somewhat hinging his bets on capturing her in order for this plan to work. Like because if that's not his plan, then there's no way this is going to work. Like the way it sounds like this should work is that Rebecca's power is needed in order for the bombs to activate correctly. But if he just activates them willy-nilly, then he's just going to be killing himself. And don't get me wrong, the man is psychotic. He does look like he's fucking suicidal, but it's like I have to assume he's still cognizant enough to know that this isn't going to work without Rebecca's powers. So it should be interesting to see how Rebecca's capture, if at all, is going to play into the dynamics of what goes on here now. And the other thing that has me uneasy though is that early in the chapter, Rebecca makes a point of talking about the fact that this whole side quest with Zenilith has interfered with the original plan of reuniting with Rachel and getting to Mother. But with this reveal of the antimatter bombs, I can't help but feel our reunion with her might happen sooner, or even like Rebecca's grandma might be thrown in as a twist, because these two events happen because just Rebecca's little comment about going to Yukino Cosmos, and then this happening immediately after. I don't know. It might sound conspiratorial, but this all happened a little too side by side for it to be coincidence. Honestly, like that's just kind of where I'm at. I don't think. Like I think we might be introduced to a version of I think of probably of a version of Archbishop so to speak, of the Archbishop and whatnot. So yeah, but yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Analyst Control. Be sure to hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, or just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, everyone.